Chapter 5. A Friend and an Enemy. The next day, while Marilla was in the barn, Matthew went upstairs to talk to Anne. Anne asked him, "Did you hear about my fight with Mrs. Lynde?" "I sure did," said Matthew. "Can you go to her today and say that you're sorry?" "I would do anything for you," Anne replied. "And anyway, I was angry all last night, but today I am sorry for what I did." Matthew said, "Well then, you and Marilla can go over to Rachel Lynde's house together. You can tell her that you're sorry. Rachel will understand and the fight will be over." So Marilla took Anne to see Rachel Lynde. They found Mrs. Lynde sitting on the porch. "Anne has something to say to you, Rachel," said Marilla. Anne got down on her knees. "Oh, Mrs. Lynde," cried Anne, "I am so sorry for the way I behaved. You are right. I am a wicked girl. What you said about me is true. My hair is red, and I am funny looking. And what I said about you is true also. You are fat, but I should not have said that about you. Can you forgive me?" Rachel Lynde was surprised. "Yes, I forgive you, child," said Rachel. "And someday your red hair will get a little darker. Don't you worry." After dinner, Marilla told Anne, "Tomorrow is Sunday, and you will go to church for Sunday school. I put a new dress on your bed, and I want you to try it on." "A new dress?" Anne shouted. She jumped out of her chair and ran upstairs, 2 stairs at a time. Anne stayed upstairs for a long time. Matthew and Marilla sat in the front room and waited for her. Finally, Anne came down and stood in the doorway. She looked sad. "Well," asked Marilla, "do you like it?" Anne sat down and put her hands in her lap. "Thank you very much for the dress, Marilla," said Anne. "I can tell that you don't like it," said Marilla. "What's wrong with it, Anne?" "Well," Anne said, "I don't want to seem ungrateful, but it's a very simple, plain dress. I was hoping for a dress with puffy sleeves. It would be so thrilling to have a dress with puffy sleeves." "That is one thrill that you won't get from me," said Marilla. "I think that puffy sleeves look silly. A simple, plain dress is better." "I would rather be silly like the other girls than be plain all by myself," said Anne. The next morning, Anne walked to Sunday school in her simple, plain dress. Along the way, she picked wild roses and stuck them in her hat. She thought to herself, "If I can't have a fancy dress, then I can at least have a fancy hat." When Anne got to the church, the other children stared at her plain dress and at the faded roses in her hat. One of the boys laughed at her. His name was Gilbert Blythe. The children had heard stories about the strange orphan girl from Green Gables, so most of them stayed away from Anne. But finally, one of the girls walked up to her and shook her hand. "Hello," said the girl. "My name is Diana Barry." "What a lovely and beautiful name," said Anne. "It sounds like the name of a famous actress or a singer. My name is only Anne, spelled with an E." Diana laughed. Diana always laughed before she spoke. "Well, Anne with an E, I think that we shall be friends." "Oh, no," said Anne. I want us to be best friends forever and ever. Diana Barry lived near Green Gables. When Sunday school was over, the two girls walked home together. When Anne got back to her own house, Matthew and Marilla were in the kitchen. "How did it go?" asked Matthew. Anne said, "Today I met the girl who will be my best friend forever. Her name is Diana Barry." "Well, I hope that you won't talk the poor child to death," said Marilla. Anne didn't seem to hear Marilla. Anne spoke again. "And today I met my very worst enemy," she said. "His name is Gilbert Blythe. He laughed at my hat," said Anne. Marilla looked at the dead flowers hanging from Anne's hat. "I'm not surprised," said Marilla. "Your hat does look odd." "Oh, Marilla," said Anne, "next week there's going to be a picnic at Sunday school. They're going to make ice cream. I have never tasted ice cream, Marilla. May I go? I simply must go." "Yes, Anne," said Marilla. "Of course you can go."